Hello and welcome back to OmniFoot TV. This is your host Omar speaking, and today I'm going to be reacting to yesterday's results and just providing my thoughts on the round of 16 in general. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I was wrong. I said that England would crash out against Germany, and I was wrong. I'm not happy about being wrong, but that's totally fine. Credit where it's due to this England team. Some credit where it's due to Southgate. Because to be honest, they won despite themselves. Nothing is going to convince me otherwise. Seriously. Tactically speaking, although Lowe couldn't really cope with Southgate's defensive display. And impressively, England have yet to concede a goal in this tournament. Now, the Germans couldn't really react. They didn't necessarily show up yesterday. They didn't show up the way they did against Portugal. But, you can't take the victory away. It's a huge result for England. This is the first time they've beaten Germany in the knockout stages of any major tournament since '66. And now they have Ukraine to face, who had an absolutely brilliant game last night. That game in general, the Sweden-Ukraine game, was extremely entertaining. Shots off the woodwork. Extremely high work rate from both teams. A midfield battle. It got really aggressive at one point. The red card really made it much more tense. Both managers had had their issues controlling their emotions on the touchline. The round of 16 has been extremely entertaining. I think it's been the most entertaining round of 16 of any tournament I've seen in recent memory. Or rather, any recent tournament. It's been full of goals, full of drama, plot twists. Predictions really don't mean jack at this point. But, I'm just going to talk about England for a minute because I have to do that. They have the biggest advantage in the world at the moment. They have the biggest advantage to actually go into the later stages of a major tournament at home, because they've been the only side not to have traveled anywhere, and they're playing most of their games at Wembley. If they manage to beat Ukraine at the Olimpico, then they go to the semifinals. Now, look, I've criticized Southgate heavily. I still am, and I still will, because Southgate to me is just, he's not even Fernando Santos 2.0. What Santos did with Portugal, as hilariously fraudulent as it was in the last Euros, at least he was competent enough with his choices in terms of players and such. Everything Southgate does, from before a game kicks off to his lineup, it frustrates me. It really frustrates me. You see players who should be starting on the bench. Looking back at my preview and at the video I made criticizing England and saying they would crash and burn. I am wrong. I will say that again. They have not crashed and burned. On paper, they've done better than most people supposedly expected, but it's a home tournament, which I don't understand. I didn't consider them favorites, neither them or the French. But the French have met my expectations. The English have not, which is the most surprising thing in the world, because Southgate's choice of players in context just doesn't work. His tactical approach isn't really a tactical approach, because the man has no idea what he's doing. It's based on individual brilliance, and they don't even have the mindset for it. It seriously bothers me that a manager would go out before a tournament and say, we can't look past the group stages at the moment, when asked about his chances at a home tournament. And then he goes this far. I don't know how to feel about that. You should at least show a bit of confidence in order to get this far. Like I said, the end really doesn't justify the means here. It's logical because they took the chances that they had to get this far. And I can't discredit them. And Southgate basically managed the most important game of his career yesterday. But it's just depressing. I look at the France side that won the World Cup and I think, okay, tactically they weren't all there, but they had the mindset. Deschamps is a good man manager. And I look at Portugal. They had Santos, who tactically wasn't all there as well, but he had to be a good man manager to get this to get this team that far. And you also had Ronaldo. But in regards to England, it's like you have to have one of either. The tactical know-how or the man management. If you're a great manager, you have both. And those are few and far between nowadays. You look at Southgate, and he has neither. He literally has neither. He's not a man manager. He's not much of a tactical He doesn't have the tactical awareness needed to have even gotten this job in the first place. And yet, he's gotten this team to a World Cup semi-final and a quarterfinals of Euros. I look at the managers who've taken over England from Sven-Goran Eriksson up until Capello, or even Sam Allardyce, and it's like Capello is the only proper exception for a good manager that they've actually had at the helm. But every time England have crashed out of a major tournament since then, or since I have been aware of football, they've crashed out despite themselves. And despite the ineptitude of their managers. Or because of the ineptitude of their managers. Now, ironically, they're making it through despite themselves. They're making it through these stages despite the ineptitude of their manager and despite any tactical system. You can't analyze what they're doing. You can't learn from it if you can't analyze it. If there's no logic behind it, then what's the point? And now we're really asking if it's coming home, which seriously depresses me. It does. Like I'm happy for every England fan out there. You know, putting myself in any England fan's shoes, okay, you did it. You beat the Germans. You're not going to shut up about it for the next 60 or 70 years, I guess. But Jesus, it happened. And you get to enjoy it. You deserve to enjoy it. It's a results business. But at the same time, it's how you get those results that people study in order to keep moving the game forward. And to me, in regards to this Euros and the teams that have gotten through this thus far, I want an Italy-Denmark final. I want an Italy-Denmark final because I respect Kasper Hjulmand and what he's done with his Danish side and how they've bounced back. Credit to him. Credit to these players. And Mancini, to me, is just the ultimate example of management in this tournament. It's about influence. It's about how you advance the game forward. And in major tournaments like this, they expose football for a lot of its flaws. And I am going to make a video talking about this, and I said that I would after the tournament ends, because major tournament football is just, it can be hilariously depressing sometimes. It can really expose the sport for what it is tactically. But you have managers who didn't do all that, did do extremely well and got knocked out earlier on in the tournament because they managed teams that didn't necessarily have that level of quality, but they stuck it out. Managers that people should be talking about a lot more so. I mean, I look back at Portugal's Euro win. Everyone talks about how everyone says or talks about the fact that they won the Euros. No one cares to talk about how they did it because they stole it. They practically stole it. They had the worst run of any team to a final in any major tournament. They finished third in their group, for God's sake. And now, I look at England. They boast the better record. On the surface, they boast the better record so far. But everything else is wrong. How can you do everything else wrong and get the right results? How? How can you get everything wrong in context? Or not everything. Let's say 90% of everything. Or 80% even. I'll just be that kind. How can you get 80% of things wrong? When the whistle blows, when the time comes, and you still get the right results in the end. It's like doing a math equation and getting the answer right. The teacher won't give you points for that. If you actually got the answer right and you screwed up the method by which to get the answer, it'll make no sense. Teachers don't grade that. It's kind of a weird example I'm giving because I'm bad at math, but it's the process. It's the process by which you get what you get in the end. That's always been the point of the advancement of this sport. Sure, I'll say it. Congratulations to the England fans. Credit to this team. Credit to Southgate for what he got right yesterday. Even a broken clock is right once a day or twice a day. But this depresses me. This genuinely depresses me. I'm being objective here as best as I can. I can't discredit them. You cannot discredit a team for getting this far in the tournament. There has to be something there. I don't know what it is. Faith, maybe. That seems to be what it is, if we're perfectly honest here. It seems to me that he's picking players solely based on faith. In a sense that, okay, you may have been horrible this season, but I'm going to start you anyway, so please just repay my faith in you. And if we're honest, that's kind of what's happening. Although, when you have better options, players who deserve to be out there, they're the ones who should be getting the nod. I don't know anymore. This Euros has shown us how unpredictable and how surprising major tournaments can be. And at the highest level. We've seen drama of the highest order. Now, on Saturday, the Olimpico, England face Ukraine. Belgium are going to face Italy. And, the Czechs face Denmark. I have to shoehorn that in. There's more, but I'm just looking at this tournament so far, and I think that all I know is I don't want someone to come in and steal it again. I don't want a repeat of the 2016 Euros. Because I seriously couldn't care less about that tournament for the life of me because of how it ended. Nobody wanted that to happen in the end. You had two teams who were basically cut from the same cloth, and the one that won was the one that just got there via a magic carpet of sorts. They just didn't. Football doesn't make sense sometimes. I have to say, though, the fact that it doesn't make sense externally, the only thing about it that makes sense is that when you have your chances, you take them. That is the only justice in football. That is the only thing that we can use to say that this game is a logical sport. With the chances that you have, you take, and you earn the victory. Everything else makes no sense. Everything else shouldn't make sense at that point, I mean. So, yeah. I'm going to stop the video right here. This has just been a small retrospective, and my opinion on the games yesterday. looking forward to the rest of the tournament, to be honest. I just hope it ends on a much better note. If you like our content, please, like, comment, and subscribe. The comment section is, free for discourse. Let there be discourse. I just want people to actually voice their opinions if they like or dislike anything I've said, or agree or disagree, not necessarily like or dislike. The links to our social media accounts are in the description below. And, I've said that sentence a lot today. I'll see you soon. Probably going to shoot another video tomorrow. There's an interesting video I have coming up on Portugal, on Santos and Mourinho. So hope you guys enjoy that one when it comes out. Thank you all for tuning in once again. And cheers, everyone. Have a good day.